Hello everyone and welcome to episode 53 of Estate Planning TV. I'm your host, Christopher Small, and this is the internet's most passionate show about estate planning. Welcome to the show. Welcome everyone. Hopefully you're having a great everything. I am, and I'm excited to be here to talk to you today about sort of a third advantage, a third thing that you can do with revocable living trusts, and that is protect your IRA for future generations, or create built-in sort of pensions or retirement plans for future generations, and or prevent your kids or your heirs or your beneficiaries from wasting your hard-earned retirement funds via taxes and other spoilage, right? So before we do that though, I wanted to let you know that this episode of Estate Planning TV is brought to you by CMS Law Firm, LLC. That's my firm. CMS Law Firm is a Seattle-based estate planning and probate law firm created with three foundational principles in mind: legacy, the best client service, and simplicity of process. We believe that estate planning is a fluid process, so whether you are a new family looking for basic protection or have created your fortune and want to preserve it for multiple generations, we welcome you with open arms. Also, if you've lost a loved one and are looking for help through that process, we would be happy to be of service to you in that arena as well. The first step for us is always a conversation. If you need help with estate planning or probate, you can schedule a phone or in-person meeting by going to cmslawfirm.com/go or calling us at 206-659-1512. One more time, that is cmslawfirm.com/go. Now, on to the show. Okay, had to get that out of the way. First promo that I've run for the show, but just in case you guys need help, I thought I'd drop that in there. So like I said, today's podcast, today's show is really sort of a continuation on a theme of the past few episodes, and really want to talk about the advantages of a revocable living trust. As always, if these don't apply to you, then you may not need a revocable living trust. That's okay. Some people just want the basics. That's fine. What my goal really is for you with all of my episodes, with all of my shows, is to just provide you with the information, to provide you with knowledge, so that you can make an informed decision when it comes to protecting yourself, when it comes to protecting your family, when it comes to creating generational wealth, when it comes to creating generational opportunity, and when it comes to crafting the legacy of your family. So today is something that I think is actually quite an important topic, and it's something that people don't think about, it's something that people don't realize, and it really results in a significant diminution, shortening, right? Decrease in value of people's IRAs when they pass away. So real quick, let me just give you a typical example of what happens, and you'll kind of see what I'm talking about. So, a lot of Americans, most Americans, and whether or not you I agree with this or not, this happens. Most Americans are sort of taught or believe or really put a lot of emphasis on their retirement accounts. They put in pre-tax dollars, which means you get to take a little bit off now. And unless you have a Roth account, when you take those distributions in retirement, then you're going to pay income tax on those. Okay, and a lot of people believe, which is smart, that they should plan for retirement, that they should save for retirement, and most people sock most of their money away into these retirement plans, whether it's a 401k, just a regular old IRA, a SEP IRA if you are a business owner, an individual. So you tend to see a significant accumulation of funds in these IRA accounts, whether it's $100,000 or $1 million or $2 million, right? There is a chance that money won't all be used by you before you pass away. What most people do is either have a will or a trust. They just give it to their beneficiaries. And what happens in that instance is the beneficiary typically has three options. Option number one is they can take an outright distribution just like right now. So if you got 100 grand, they just tell the custodian of the IRA account, cut me a check. Okay, this happens way more frequently than you would imagine. Okay, and if you think your family is immune to this, then that's okay. Just know that it happens a lot. Okay, there's this fact out there that I cite all the time. That's something like 85% of inheritances are spent within the first 6 months of receiving them, kind of a thing. So just know that people are not good with found money, okay, when we're thinking about this. And you have the opportunity to craft and sort of make decisions for them. That's number one. The downside, the really, really big downside to that, in addition to just having that money out there that's typically sort of spent or used unwisely, is that the income taxes on that are paid all at once. So let's say it's 100 grand or 200 grand or $1 million. You could lose upwards of 30, 35, 36% of that just to income taxes right off the bat. So your $1 million is now only 700,000. Your 100K is now only 70K. And most people didn't work hard or work that hard to just have the government, the man, take that share of their funds, And the reason, by the way, to sort of let me take a step back and say, I'm not a financial planner, and I don't pretend to be one, but I know a little bit about it, and this is where I'm coming from on this, okay? So take this with a grain of salt. If you don't believe me, go talk to your financial advisor and confirm this information. But one of the ideas behind socking away pre-tax dollars to take them out and pay income tax on them later is that you'll be in a lower income tax bracket when you're older, okay? Now, whether or not that actually happens is up for debate, and sort of everybody's situation is different. So again, I would highly encourage you to talk to a financial advisor, see where you're at and where you're going, and if you're making the right choices based on what your goals are and what your life is like. So, option number one. Option number two is to take the distributions on a 5-year window. Okay, you can opt in for a 5-year window, and the advantage there is you get to stretch it out over time. When it comes to sort of an estate planning frame of reference, 5 years I think is better than no years, because the beneficiary of that account, of that money, will have some time to sort of process it, have some time to just sort of sit on it and let it just be there. Can sort of burn a hole in our pockets when we first get it. But you have some of the same issues. If you're taking $1 million over 5 years, that's 200 grand a year. That's a significant income tax hit on that. Okay, that's option number two. The third option is you can what's called stretch the IRA distribution over the life of the beneficiary. You can stretch that over the life of the person that's receiving the money instead of the decedent. And this is quite amazing because it allows for significant accumulation of wealth inside of the account. And what it does is essentially create a pension or sort of a retirement fund for your beneficiary. So for example, let's say my mom passed away and she had $1 million, she's still alive, my mom's still alive. So she had $1 million IRA account and she gave it to me. Okay, I'm 38 years old. Don't let this baby face fool you. I'm 38 years old, and so on my actuarial table, let's say my death date is 88. Okay, just to make the math easy. So what I can do is I can take that IRA, I can sort of roll it over into what's called an inherited IRA, and then I can take those stretches on my own timeline, which means in year one, I'm only going to take 1/50th of a distribution. Okay, so that's 2%. So assuming that this IRA grows at let's say 6%, right? There's going to be more in the IRA after year one than there was at the beginning, because I'm only going to take out 2%. And then that just continues to go and go and go, right? So there it goes. It creates that built-in retirement for me. Now, there are some downsides to just giving your IRA to your beneficiaries, to your heirs, whoever you want. The downside is that unlike your IRA right now, an inherited IRA loses essentially all of the creditor protection, the liability protection, potentially the divorce protection, the creditor protection, everything. Okay, it is not a protected account like it is when it's yours. All right, there's a case that came down, a court case that basically says this is how it goes. What that means is, if your heirs have a bad business that goes into bankruptcy, if they get in a car accident and are liable for that, if they have a drug habit or a gambling habit or just bad lifestyle choices, then there is a significant chance that those IRA funds that you've worked so hard for, that you wanted to protect, that you wanted to use for your family, will then just pass through right to these creditors, will just pass through right to these people that you don't want them to go to. Okay? A solution to that is to create a revocable trust that is an IRA trust. Now, the great thing about it is, while you're here, as always, it's completely revocable, but when you die, it becomes irrevocable. Okay? The trustee steps in, the IRA funds go into the trust, and then the trust provides the protection and the safety and the direction of how those funds are to be used. So you can make the choice for your heirs and require that stretch distribution, which means they are going to have a significant amount of wealth over time, right? They're going to be able to pursue those opportunities that they want. They're going to be able to plan their life knowing that they've got this in the background, which can be helpful. Number two is you have already built in a lot of those creditor protections, because the trust itself, as an irrevocable trust, provides significant creditor protection. It can provide protection from bad habits. It can provide protection from incapacity. It can provide protection from divorce. It can provide protection from all of these things. So if you are someone that has significant IRA funds and you want to use those funds for future generations, and you want to help them choose what is probably, in most instances, the right choice, which is to stretch them out, then you might want to consider creating a revocable trust to hold your IRA when you pass away. All right, that is it. Again, if you have questions about this, if you think this might be something that you want to learn more about, feel free to call me, 206-659-1512. You can always schedule an appointment, cmslawfirm.com/go. I'd love to talk to you. I'd love to see if it's a good fit for you. And I'd love to help you if you would like us to. Okay? That is it. Hopefully you enjoyed this, and I will catch you again next week. See ya.